Good evening to people in the Codex land. Welcome to Comic Character of the Week. What's up, folks? Hey, welcome to the Codex station where we're doing Comic Character of the Week this week. And who are we? Well, first, let's me introduce the crowd, the usual suspects. to my right, I got it the first time, is J-Dub, Mr. Antonio Bandana. And down below is Dan the Man Kelly.
Band-Aid.
Bandana.
It's Mr. Antonio Band-Aid.
Band-Aid. Antonio Band-Aid. I like that. Band-Aid.
Oh, I missed this so much.
No, that should be your fantasy team name, Antonio Bandana.
Yeah. Well,
Antonio Band-Aid. I'll think. Better.
yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. Awesome. Welcome to the show, folks. Dan the Man Kelly, why don't you tell folks where they can find you at when you're not here on Codex Station?
You can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. If you check it out, if you're watching this live, you can check it out tomorrow. If you are not watching this live, you can still check it out, and you can see the stuff I got from Baltimore Comic-Con, some of the signatures and artwork I got there. I'll be posting that on there tomorrow. And then these two guys also have stuff going on. Who wants to go first about it?
I vote Sale.
Well, then, fine. Then vote me first. You can always find me on Sal's Comic Corner on YouTube and under Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. I will have a video of my Baltimore Comic Con loot, you might say, is coming soon. So check that out in a few days. And then Jamie, why don't you tell us about the Codex Station?
Yeah, guys, go check out the Codex Station on all the socials. All you do is type in at the Codex Station, and that's where you can find us. We are working our way to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube right now, sitting at 969. And we're going to be doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway, which is going to be enormous. So don't miss out on that.
All right, guys. Dan, who are we covering tonight for Comic Character of the Week? That would be your shirt.
Yes, we're covering my T-shirt.
The Clown Prince of Crime himself, the Joker. This is a tough one. I had a lot of tough decisions to make for this guy.
This is
amazing.
This is probably my most favorite, easiest one we've done so far.
Wow, this was actually tough for me. This was tough for me.
This was pretty, I'd say this was pretty easy for me. There was a lot of stuff right away. I was like, oh, this cover, this story. Yeah.
I can't wait to get to the covers because one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just completely belongs
somewhere else. All right, folks, before we dive in, let's go get a shout out to our sponsor, and that's W Energy. So you got to go to WGG, and then if you enter the word Codex, COD-X at checkout, you will save 10% on your order. It's a good, clean energy drink. We've all had it. Jamie's eating some right now. He's going to probably snort it later. Who knows? But it's definitely a good, clean energy drink. There's no jitters. There's no bad aftertaste. It's a good drink to have. So go check them out, WGG, and save 10% on your order.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I just ran out, so I got to order more.
Okay.
Yeah,
very good. Like I said, Jamie's going to be snorting it later. So
who says I didn't do one already?
Yeah, I've just finished off my tub of it on Wednesday, so I got to order another one.
He's got to order another tub. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, tubs will be ordered.
We got the slab guy and the tub guy.
Were you like watching a bunch of movie trailers before this? Or are you trying to imitate the voice?
The movie trailer, man? In a world where trailers just really suck ass. No, anyhow. Let's go ahead and just dive right in. We're not going to talk about movie trailers. Okay. This is going to be one of those nights, folks. Boom. All right, here we go. So, first off, we're going to work with scenarios that we love about this character.
No, we got to get into the first appearance. Oh,
no, Dan, you got to give us the info. You got to give us the info, Dan.
There's no info. It's the Joker.
Jamie snorting the W is what threw me off.
Do it.
Give us the info.
All right, so the Joker's first appearance was in Batman issue 1 in April of 1940. He was created by Bill Finger, Bob Kane, and Jerry Robinson. Interestingly, you may or may not know, you guys probably know, he was not supposed to survive after his first appearance. He was killed off by Batman in the book, and the editor saw it and was like, no, this is too good of a character, and they like threw in a final panel at the end that showed like, oh, this guy's still alive. as far as his origin, there's various ones out there, so I'm just going to go with what the first one that was revealed was, which was in Detective Comics issue 168 back in 1951, where the Joker said that he was a lab worker that decided to steal $1 million and retire. So he disguised himself as the Red Hood, swam through a pool of chemical waste to rob the Monarch Playing Card Company. The chemicals got in through his mask and changed his face to, give him the green hair, the white face, and the smile and all that. And he knew that the way he looked now would terrify people, so he decided to call himself the Joker after one of the playing cards from the card factory and become a criminal. Now, this was the Joker telling Batman and Robin this origin. But I would dare say that the Joker is the very definition of the unreliable narrator. So this could be BS or this could be not. But that was, and they never gave a name for him either. So that was the original origin that was said for him. And all the ones that have come after have been kind of variations off of that. And as far as his powers, he's got none. He's a lunatic. He's crazy, but he's also brilliant too.
Yeah.
So, as far as his power set goes, he's screwed.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
He's I mean, he has shown that he's, is brilliant and that he's devious. He's not an idiot. He's smart, but yeah, he is, he is batshit crazy.
Literally.
Yep. It's definitely batshit crazy. I love it. That's a great description. All right. So now let's jump to scenarios that work best for this character. And I want Jamie to kick us off for that.
Scenarios that he fits perfectly into. And we just talked about it when he's just bet lunatic. Like lunatic fringe, doesn't have a plan, just completely let loose, the anarchist that he needs to be. When he's that's my Joker every time. From swinging on Christmas trees to using, teeth that explode on the ground. Oh my God. It doesn't get any better than that.
Definitely. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I like him when he's just a complete wild card. You have no idea what he'll do. Like, he's just madness personified. And I'll take that as to mean it doesn't always mean that he's going to just murder everyone in the room. But, like, when they play it where you truly don't know what it is he'll do. Like, he could go into a room full of people, and he could shoot every one of them in the head or poison them with gas. Or, he could have whoopee cushions that he put underneath of their chairs. He could pull a gun on a guy and kill him, or he could pull the trigger, and the little thing that comes, comes out that just says like, ha, ha, ha. Like that's the great part that's the great part about this character is I feel like there's almost nothing that you can write with him that you couldn't be like, oh, okay, that's the Joker. Like he could just show up in an arc of Batman, decide, oh, I'm going to be a hero now, and just go around and start fighting crime and be like, all right, what's going on with this guy? There's something going on with it, but you wouldn't really question it because who knows? He could do whatever he wants. And it is fun to see him interact with other villains at times too, when they're like, you see all these other villains, like all these other mega powered villains and stuff that should be able to just like reduce him to a pile of ash with a look. And they're like wary of him. Like, what is this guy going to do? And they just kind of like, all right, we're just going to stay over here to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So for mine, you guys hit it right on the head. He's a, homicidal maniac, completely off the rails. And he, there's no rhyme or reason for his killing. There's just none. It's just because it's a joke to him. It's a computer other joke. And that's how I like that character. That's just how he is. And they shouldn't change that. I mean, yeah, they shouldn't change that at all. That should be the little exploding teeth, the little squirt buzzer with acid, the squirt flower with acid, the electric buzzer, all that good stuff. So they shouldn't change any of that.
But
like bars.
Yeah, like I remember that. What was the one episode of the animated series? I think it was based on a comic where he like pseudo terrorized this normal guy, like had his wallet and
yep.
For, like,
I was just thinking of that episode.
Yeah, for all this time, and and then like the thing he had to do was just like nothing. It was just innocuous.
Right. So in that story, he cuts off the Joker, or the Joker cuts him off, and he gets road rage. And he blows the horn, starts yelling at him, and then he realizes it's the Joker, and he goes like, "Oh crap!" And he's like, he starts to drive away, but then the Joker follows him home, or follows him, to his home, gets him out of his car, and he's like, goes through. So he's like, "Take my wallet, take my money." He's like, "I just want your license, so I know when you owe me a favor, I'm going to call you." And then like 5 years later, the man's been um, relocated to witness protection. Joker still finds him. He goes, "I'm calling in that favor now." He's like, "Oh crap! Oh crap! Okay, what do you want me to do?" He goes, "I need you to hold this door for Harlequin, or for Harley." And he's like, "What?" He goes, "Look at the size of the cake she's got to carry. She can't open the door." So he opens the door, but of course his hand is glued to the handle, and there's a bomb in the cake that's going to blow up everybody in the room, including him. So, but that's a good episode because he gets his revenge on the Joker as well. And the one time that the Joker goes screaming for Batman to help him, so that was pretty cool.
And I love how they do the Joker in the Harley Quinn animated series too.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Like and the way Alan Tudyk does his voice too, like it's very reminiscent of how Mark Hamill did his voice, but it's still distinct itself too.
mm-hmm. Very true, very true. All right, so now we've gone over like what works best for him. Let's go ahead and jump to what doesn't work. So what doesn't work? And Dan, let's have you kick this one off.
For me, I don't like when they give him a name and a definitive backstory. I feel like for him it should be ambiguous. He's one of those characters, and they come along, very rarely, where the less you know about their origins, the better. I feel like Wolverine was that way, where they just teased things here and there, but when they finally, revealed all of it, it was just a disservice to the character. It's the same thing with the Joker. They've, and as much as I love Jeff Johns' writing, like he is obsessed with trying to like give him a definitive origin and a name. Like, no, this guy should just be madness personified. He shouldn't have, obviously comes from somewhere, but we don't need to know where he came from. Like, for all intents and purposes, Batman was there, and then madness was just like, boop, here's the opposite of you to terrorize you for the rest of your life. That's what it should be.
Yep.
So that
I totally agree.
Yeah, so that's what it is for me. Like, I don't need to know. And even the little bits we get of his backstory, like I said, that's something, it kind of like how Heath Ledger did it in in his Batman movie, where
He told different stories every time to someone else.
yeah, it was a different story every time. So like, is one of these true? Are none of them true? Because he's like I said, he's the definition of the unreliable narrator. He could be telling you, he could tell you 5 truths and a lie, and you would think he told you 5 lies and a truth, because you just never know. So what about you?
True.
What is it that you dislike?
For me, well, first off, I gotta kind of disagree with you on that one. To me, it's amazing when they try to give him a backstory, because everyone gives him a different backstory. So you do have the unreliable narrator in that sense, because of the fact that you just don't know. You read 7 different stories, you get 7 different backstories. You never get the real name either. Like I could pull a stack of comics out right now and be like, well, this one, this is his name. This one, this is his name. This one, this is a different name. Everything does not correlate. There's no one thing besides a vat of chemicals. That's the only thing that ever stays remotely the same.
Yeah, it's like the Red Hood, the vat of chemicals, and that's it.
That's it.
Right.
That's the only constant in the story being told, and that's it. But for me, the thing that I think that doesn't work is him outside the realm of the Bat family. Anytime he steps out and there's a different hero going up against him, or a different villain going up against him, or him in a different city, for me, it just does not work. It just does, because everyone just looks at him, even if it's a hero, and they're like, Batman really took him this long to beat this guy? Like, to stop him? Seriously? Green Lantern put him in a bubble and took him to Arkham. We're done. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, he works better there, but they always try to write him to be more mainstream outside too. And to do that, it just takes away from the character so much.
I agree with that. The only thing I would say opposite of that is, you're right, he's the perfect foil for Batman, not necessarily other characters. except when they did the stuff where it's like, oh yeah, he killed Lois and drove Superman crazy. As
Yeah, but
much
then you see
as,
how that ended. He just had a hole punched through him, and that was the end of the story.
yeah, but like as much as the narrative of Superman going evil is tired. Like when they did it with that in
Injustice.
I was gonna say not even Justice, but like in Kingdom Come, it's like okay, all right, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
I get
you're
it.
right.
It's just at the end of the day, it's just when they put him up against someone like Wonder Woman, or you get him up against like a Hawkman or something. They're like, how is this guy still alive? It just doesn't make sense, and it doesn't when it comes to that narrative.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I don't need to
Okay.
see Joker fighting Aquaman.
No, I don't think so.
But what about you, Sal? What is it? What are your dislikes with him?
As much as I like all the exploding tricks and toys and stuff like that, the problem I have is how or where does he have this stuff made or done? Since he's the I give him the credit that he's ingenious and he can make up the stuff or think about it and say, yeah, I created this chemical that can do this and this and this, or I created this gas that only affects people when I introduce this other gas, that type of thing, or something like that, But the exploding teeth, like you'll have like hundreds of exploding marbles. Where the hell does he get this made? Where is he? He probably has the money from stealing it to make all this stuff. But is there a warehouse of evil villain stuff? Oh, I'll take give me 10,000
Like
exploding
Acme
marbles in the
Corporation and
acid flour, type of thing. But he could probably make the stuff. But I see them more as one-offs than 100 jumping teeth as explosives.
I think he's
I don't know.
Acme's best customer next to the Roadrunner.
That
That's
wild
what I was saying,
coyote.
like,
Yeah, next to the coyote. So why I don't mind the little backstory or no backstory, because I kind of like both in those situations. I feel like Batman has the resource capital. He has a research development section of his own company that just builds bat equipment.
Yeah.
So the capital is there, and at least the research and development is there. How does he make so much of it? Then that he's able to, I don't know. That makes that's just that part of
That's
it
the
goes a little
story
bit
we need.
realistic for me. What's that?
That's the story we need. It's just gotta be called Joker.
Joker's
and-
Acme.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that would be cool actually.
ammo.
You see him just going into a lab and like, okay, scientists, you're working for me now, and has him do all this stuff, and then he's like, all right, later. Oh, here's this for you, and then just
Yeah,
chuck a grenade in.
It's a one shot with 6 pages in it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and go into our 3 badass moments for Joker, or whatever badass moments that you have. And Dan, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with that?
All right. I got 4 here. I'll just have to pick 3 of them. So I'm going to go with the first one from Batman issue 251, way back in the day. And this will not be the only time you are hearing of this. It's when he didn't know which of his old henchmen ratted him out. So instead of trying to figure it out, he just killed them all one by one. And Batman figured out what was happening. I think it was after the second henchman was killed, and was completely unable. And even though he knew, all right, these 3 are going to be killed, he's doing it a different way for each one. But he's like, he's going to do this one next, and then this one, figured that out. He still couldn't stop him. The Joker just went through and killed them all. Like I said, even with Batman knowing what he was doing, and even with Batman protecting him too, it didn't matter. He still got it done. I got to go with Batman: The Killing Joke when he crippled Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and didn't even know that she was Batgirl. She just opens the door and he's like, "Hey," crippled her, psychologically tortured Jim Gordon, and trying to break him, which to Jim Gordon's strength he didn't. But then there's that ambiguous ending of the story where he tells the joke to Batman, and Batman's laughing. It's how then like all of a sudden it stops, and like there's the ambiguous ending of whether Batman killed him or not.
Right.
And then, oh damn, these other 2.
Just go both.
Let's do both.
All right, well, I gotta go. I mean, a death in the family for Batman 426 to 429. I mean, it's maybe the defining moment for him and for Jason Todd. He beats Jason Todd with the crowbar and then blows him up. And the fans were like, "You want Jason Todd to live?" And they were like, "No."
One
Except
guy
one guy.
didn't want him to live
One guy.
19,000 times.
And then, then I'll cheat and give a fourth one from Detective Comics 741. He kidnapped a bunch. It was in No Man's Land, I think. He kidnapped a bunch of babies, and when Commissioner Gordon's wife was trying to save him, he murders her in cold blood, and he's just like, "Oh, all right, that's done." And like, especially in comics where death is meaningless, that one has meant something. It has lasted.
Mm-hmm.
It's been what 10
Yes.
years now. And
Yeah, the Uncle Ben effect.
yeah. So that's what I got. What about you, Sal?
Okay, so I'll start off with one of the ones that's a duplicate from you. Actually, I got two that duplicates you. Joker killing off his henchman. That's insane, but that's also classic.
Like, why would anybody ever work for him?
No, I know.
The ability rate's got to be like 98%.
I guess $20 is $20. You know.
Got them.
So my next one that you also mentioned at the end of the, what was that one?
No Man's
Death
Land?
in the what's that? Where he tells the joke at the end?
Yeah, killing joke.
Yeah, killing joke. Sorry, couldn't get out the words there for a minute. So he gets captured by at the end by Batman, and he kind of goes sane there for a little bit. And Batman's offering to rehabilitate him, and he's like, "Yeah, it's too late for me. I'm totally gone." And then he tells them the joke. Do you guys remember the joke? Because I do.
Oh, it was the lighthouse when they were like, just follow
Not the lighthouse.
Or no,
it was the flashlight.
The flashlight where they're walking across, and he's like, just keep beaming the flashlight.
Oh yeah. He's like, no, because you'll turn it off.
He's like, yeah. So the two convicts that are two escapees from the insane asylums are trying to escape, and the next building's too far to jump. And one guy says, "Hey, if I just shine a flashlight, you can walk across the beam and get to the next building." And the guy's like, "Are you crazy? You'll turn it off while I'm halfway over." And that's what started the laughing between the both of them. So, the last badass moment, which you did not have, was in a New 52 where he actually cuts his own face off.
Oh yeah.
And
that's off my list now.
This was Death of the Family storyline.
Yeah.
So that's just insane. Where you cut your own face off, and I think later
stapled it back on.
And then wore it as a mask. Wore his own face as a mask.
But didn't this one girl that claimed to be the Joker's daughter wear his mask, wear his face? Yeah. And I don't remember if she actually was his daughter or not, or she was just crazy.
No, I don't think
she was just crazy. She thought she was.
Right. Dent. That was her name, right? Duella Dent.
Duella Dent, however you say Duella Dent.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
The issue where Harley beat the snot out of her. She's like, you don't want to be his daughter,
Stop pretending.
You don't know what a bad guy he is.
Right. All right, Jamie, over to you. What do you got for badass?
Okay,
moments?
So I'm dropping the face one for another one then.
All right.
But two we already went over. We have him beating Jason Todd to death with the crowbar, and then killing him in the explosion. Because it wasn't the crowbar that killed him; it was the pain. I have the torturing of Commissioner Gordon from The Killing Joke. I thought that was more intense than shooting Barbara Gordon. Like, to me, that was that did more than 3 panels. When you have 15 pages of just torture.
Yeah.
The last one I got was from Metal, and that was him teaming with Batman to beat up the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
Because no one knows the Batman Who Laughs better than both of them.
Right.
And I just thought that him hitting him with the crowbar repeatedly over and over again, Batman throwing batterings at him, that was the pretty much up there in the team up of Batman and Joker for me.
Yeah, that was pretty badass. All right. So did we already covered what we don't like. So now let's get into top covers. And you know what? Let's start with me on top covers because I haven't started this section yet. Start me with top covers. All right, there we go. Yep, there we are. Very cool. So of course I've got the Batman 3 Jokers just for the bloody crowbar. right there. That's just an awesome cover for me. Of course, Batman Killing Joke. This is a classic one with the camera. Of course, we've already talked about this story a little bit more. And of course, I have the Batman 251, where it's his, you know, Joker's back in town. This is the one that was a storyline where he's going around killing his henchmen off. You can't get any better than that, in my opinion. So, Jamie, why don't you show us yours?
No problem.
No problem.
Yeah. So first one up, I have Three Jokers is the variant with the Red Hood and that evil maniacal smile underneath. Next up is the Joker issue 3.
Yeah, I think it's number 3.
Yeah, it's the B variant, and it's him dressed as Santa Claus holding a little kid as Robin as he cries. Which
And the kid's holding a Batman doll too.
Yeah, it's just perfect with the Christmas tree setting behind him. It just makes more sense. And then lastly, I have the B variant for the Joker issue 12, where this is what I think of him when he's in Arkham Asylum, just losing his mind, smacking his head up against the wall, just drool and just chaos coming out of him.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah,
all right, Dan, let's see your top covers.
They kind of mirror stuff. So I also got Batman 251. I mean, it's a classic, iconic cover. The Batman 3 Jokers. It's one of the many covers from book 1. I'm sure one of you might have this on your top reading list. I was not a huge fan of the series, but the artwork in it, and especially this cover, was fantastic because you got the bloody crowbar, but you've just got that, like Fabok just captured that total look of insanity in his face right there with the smile and just that, like, if you could have a drawing that's like dead insane eyes, that's it. And then the Detective Comics 880, which is that's another one that's even though it's not that old, has become a pretty iconic cover and is a very pricey book. And really, it's only pricey because of the cover, because there's nothing else significant about it. But it's just, I've seen it on T-shirts and posters and all kinds of other stuff, and it's just awesome where it's the Joker's face, but it's all the bats as part of it too. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. All right, so now we go into essential readings. And Jamie, why don't you kick us off for essential readings on this?
Oh, of course. All right, so first up, obviously, Three Jokers. I thought it was a great story all around. And one of my favorite parts about the story of it just being the Three Jokers is Jason Todd gets his revenge, finally. And you finally see him do what he needs to do. But then once it actually happens, he's still not satisfied. I thought that was like one of the best parts of that arc was just him just not being happy about what he had done finally. Next up, obviously, is the Killing Joke. I think this is like the perfect one to go into for a Joker story. Just the torturing of James Gordon, shooting Barbara, and just seeing how unhinged he can be when he actually doesn't have a plan but has a plan, if that makes sense. And last up, I had to throw in a wild card here because I don't think anyone ever put this in or has talked about it. It was Batman and the Joker Europa.
Good.
4-issue miniseries, and it's basically Batman and Joker are poison, and it's in their veins, and they're trying to find a way to find the antidote to save themselves, but they got to work together in order to do it. And it's just unhinged justice and madness throughout.
Awesome. All right, Dan, why don't you show us yours?
All right, so I'll start off. I got The Laughing Fish, which was from Detective Comics 475. It was a story where the Joker put a poison in the water that didn't do anything to people, but it made all the fish look like him. It made them all white and green with big red smiles on them. And he did it so that he could then go copy or trademark the look of them since they looked like him. And then he could sue all these restaurants or anyone that were selling fish because they had these fish that looked like him, and that he could sue them to get a percentage of all the money from them sold because of likeness rights. And it's just, It's just absolutely insane, and it's got that ridiculousness to the story that's with him. But then it also has the madness too, because then when he wasn't able to get his trademark, so he could do this, he just started killing people um, in the local government, and kept saying like, "I'll keep killing them until you let me get my trademark." Like it's just that total madness and ridiculousness wrapped together. Next, I have The Man Who Laughs. It was a one shot. It was kind of a retelling of. It's hard to say his origin, but kind of a modern retelling of his first appearance, and it ties in a lot of the stuff, like what he said about the Red Hood stuff, and ties in a bunch of different things. But if you want to get a good sense of the character, who he was when he first showed up and first started tangling with Batman, that is a really good one to read. And then the last one I have is not his current series, but the one before that from 2021, The Joker. It ran for 15 issues. It's just an absolutely fabulous read. I just can't recommend enough. The writing is great, the artwork is great, and it's really just as much of a James Gordon story as is the Joker story too. But it's one of the
100%.
the best things I've read from him. So that's what I got from
Yes, definitely. Good stories. Good stories.
Yeah. What
All
about
right,
you?
yeah.
Let's go ahead and show mine then. There we go. Well, I'll start with the top one, Batman Killing Joke. Obviously, this is a classic one. You know, I don't know. This is we've already delved into this one so much. There's not really much more to say to this one. Then I have the Joker Endgame. This was a great story because it involved a lot of other superheroes and Joker's just going all out to infect, or I'm sorry, to kill everybody. So he specifically designed Joker toxins to infect other heroes, and all the other heroes start attacking Batman as well. That is it's a little bit of a long read. I think it's like several issues, or
Oh, yeah.
so it goes over several different series, I should say. So, but
Yeah,
it's
I
a
have them
definite.
all. It's just a long list.
It is. I would suggest getting the trade for that probably if you have
Mhm.
got those issues, but it's
Yeah.
definitely a good read. And then of course my last one is Joker: Death of the Family, and this is where he slices his face off, and it's just a great read. I love the artwork in this one as well, so this is definitely one to check out.
Yeah, definitely good picks all the way around.
And I gotta say too, I will throw the Killing Joke up there too. The only reason I didn't have it on my list is because I knew at least one other person. It's such an iconic story. I was like, I know someone else is going to have it on there, so I'll be able to like list something else on there too. But I mean that's definitely an absolute read.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the artwork in Three Jokers was great, and
Oh yeah.
I like some of the story. I just I didn't really like the concept of like the three different Jokers.
Yeah. It didn't. Yeah.
It's an entertaining story. I'm glad that it's a black label, so it's not in continuity, because because I don't like that explanation for it. But I did really like one thing at the end when they asked something to Batman about who he is, who he really is, and Batman's like, it basically was like, I'm Batman. I knew his real name, like
From the beginning.
I knew his real name like 2 days after he first showed up. But his real name doesn't matter because he's the Joker. It's almost kind of like how he's the opposite of Batman, because Batman, like, yeah, he's Bruce Wayne, but that's really just because he's got money and connections. Like, he's Batman. Like, it doesn't matter who he is under the mask, because he is the mask.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very true. Very true. All right. So next up we have our best artist and best author. And now these can come from any issue. They don't have to be a team or teamed up on an issue. So if you're iconically thinking of the Joker, who is your go-to? Dan, why don't you go ahead and start first for us on this one?
It might just be error of recency, but for writer, I got to go with James Tynion. Like I said, I really liked that Joker series, the 1 through 15 he did, and he wrote him in Batman some before that. And honestly, Joker War as a overall story wasn't great, but it did have some really cool moments to it. But I think it was a decent story. It just the way the ending fell flat was just kind of but it led into that Joker series, which was just fantastic. So I like how he wrote him in that. And then for best artist, I got to go with the guy that we all had a cover of him for, was Jason Fabok, because I think Fabok's a fantastic artist. But like I was saying on the cover, I think he really does a good job of capturing, just in his face, just capturing the madness that lays there.
Okay, very
So
good.
what about you, Jamie?
Yeah,
Okay,
Jamie, what you
so
got?
for once, me and Dan actually agree on something,
Oh,
but we're gonna go. It's 50%. James Tynion for writer, definitely 100%. I liked his work on Batman, the solo series, and I liked everything he's done with the Joker in a solo. But for artist, I gotta disagree, and I gotta go with Jorge Jimenez, especially with his work in the Joker Wars on those interiors. Oh, every time I saw it, it was just perfection of the Joker for me every time. So I'm definitely gonna go with Jimenez on that one. But I do agree with Tinian aspect. I don't think it's for relevancy right now. But I just think Tinian's just that good and can take any character and launch him.
yeah. Like I said, that Joker series, I was disappointed when it ended at 15 issues, because it was.
They made it 15. It was supposed to be originally supposed to be like 7. Then they put it 12, and then they're like, hey, guess what? 3 more.
But it was so good, and it paid off stuff that he had done in Batman before it, that kind of carried over to that. And maybe it's just being from Maryland. I love the line when the cannibal family had him in the cage, and they were getting ready to cook him. He's like, and they were like cooking some other victim they had before that, and he's like, "You're not seasoning him at all? No salt, no pepper." He's like, I should have been captured by Maryland cannibals. I always thought I'd taste good with Old Bay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, Sal, who you got?
And I agree with both of you guys on your choices. I got 2 completely different.
Awesome.
So I went for best writer. I went with Alan Moore. I mean,
yeah,
it's
hard to pick against Moore.
Yeah.
He'll argue with you that he's a lizard, so that's why he'd win.
And for best artist, I went with Neil Adams. I liked his rendition of Joker. I mean, everybody else has been great. I'm not going to discredit anybody that you mentioned before, because they've all been great. But Neil Adams, when I think of Joker, Neil Adams' Joker is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah. No, definitely. Cool. When I think of Neil Adams' Joker, I automatically think of Mark Hamill.
Boom. Maybe that's why I'm liking it too, because I liked
like when I read
Mark
Joker,
Hamill's
no matter
voiceover.
what Joker looks like, it's always Mark Hamill in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I'm reading, reading the books, and I'm hearing the dialogue in my head, I'm hearing it. Like I said, even though there have been other voice actors that have done, great stuff with the role, it's still Mark Hamill. That's the voice I hear in my head when I do it. Just like it is Kevin Conroy is the Batman voice that I hear in my head. All right, and I don't even remember the name of the actor, but Gordon's voice, it's the voice of Gordon from the animated series.
Right.
I can't remember who that is either, but yeah, I kind of agree with that.
So there's been a lot of live action Jokers. Who would you guys pick as your favorite? I mean, we all know who Fan Club Jamie's a member of.
Yeah, you know who I'm eliminating right off the bat.
No, he's going to choose. That's his favorite one. I know who's going to change right away.
I have a poster in here of him because Sonny bought it for my birthday one year.
We have what? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do we have to pick one or what? What are we doing?
Yeah,
one?
It's a tie for one for me.
That's tough.
Like 5 or 6 live action Jokers.
It's Cesar Romero and Heath Ledger.
You got to pick one.
You got to pick one.
Heath Ledger.
I'm going to go with Heath Ledger as well.
Yeah, that's a trifecta.
But Cesar Romero is very close for me too.
I appreciate the fact that Cesar Romero refused to shave off his
mustache the entire time.
So they just painted white paint over it, because I feel like that's a very Jokerish thing to do. But yeah, the performance Heath Ledger gave was just, I mean, no offense to Jared Leto, the artist that he is. But yeah, Heath Ledger just absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely true. Because I think Heath Ledger captured the homicidal maniac version.
Just a straight anarchist.
Yeah, like he captured the unpredictability of them. Like just stuff like, oh, here's this tower of money that's like billions of dollars. I'm gonna set it on fire.
Yeah.
Or
He's like,
just like,
it's
hey,
only my math.
yeah, like, hey, you want to watch me make this pencil disappear? And you're like, what? Oh.
Yeah.
But you see, like his genius.
And then he's walking away with the playing with the string. He's like,
But like you see his genius where he set the heist up in the beginning of the movie, and then like all the things that had to go like that. It's just
he told me to kill the guy that was driving the bus. Wait a minute, he told me to kill somebody else too. No, and he kills it. Oh, it's great.
I liked it when he was taking over the other guy's gang, and he breaks a pool stick. He's like, now our team is small with room for rapid growth. And then he throws down the broken stick. He's like, but there's only room for one. And they imply the guy's got to fight it out from the spot.
Yeah. Or when he's dressed as a nurse and he's walking outside the hospital and he's hitting the.
That was actually improvised.
I know, because it was the delay. So he kept hitting and he's like, and it blew up and he ran away.
Just like the whole scene with him and Harvey in the bed, like Harvey, wasn't supposed to have any lines, and like they didn't really improvise the whole scene, but they kind of worked it out between each other. I saw an interview with Aaron Eckhart where he talked about that.
Yeah, he's like, he watched him. And he's like for 20 minutes he just walked back and forth, and he's like, I followed him with my eyes the entire time.
And and that was really awesome. The part where he had the grill. Oh wait, no, that was the other guy.
All right, thank you guys again for joining us, a comic character.
No, I'll say one of the
great episode. Dan is now going to be muted for the rest of the episode because he's not allowed to talk.
One of the
hold on, I'm looking up. It was Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman was the voice of Jim Gordon from the series. That was bothering me. I had to look it up. Sorry.
Who is it?
Gary Oldman.
No, not in the movie. I'm talking about in the animated series.
Yeah.
No, Gary Oldman was the movie.
That's right. My apologies. Hold on.
Like the two things I liked least about Jared Leto's Joker was the Joker is not supposed to be buff. To get the muscles that you would take takes a lot of dedication to fitness and eating right and stuff, and that's not what the Joker does. And the one thing I really had the most problem with was the tattoos. Not necessarily that the Joker I wasn't mad that they had tattoos on him. Like, okay, I could see you with him having tattoos, but all of the tattoos were like perfectly done, straight lines and all that. The amount of time you would have to sit still in a tattoo chair to get all of those done, that's just not who the Joker would be. I imagine if he would have tattoos, it would be these like really bad looking prison tattoos that he would give himself, or it would be like, like the ha 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 thing on the arm, but it would all be these like jagged, different eyes.
Carve it out himself.
Yeah,
the only good thing I'll give that Joker was I like the hand tattoo where he put it over his face, and you saw the smile and everything. That was okay.
But like the damage on his forehead, like what are you, like some 15-year-old goth? Like, the world doesn't understand me.
Exactly.
Like I know that they say, because I get the whole grill thing too. It's like, all right, Batman knocked his teeth out and he's got to put something in there. But I just felt like if they with the tattoos, they should have made them look really like badly done.
He should have had one saying no regrets.
The artist was scared of his life doing them, and it's like trembling while he's doing them.
Yeah. So I looked it up. It's actually Bob Hastings that did the voice of Jim Gordon in the animated series.
I think really when I read Batman comics, like pretty much all the voices I hear in my head are the voices from the animated series. Like Bullock, that's the voice I hear.
Yep. Harley as well. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Right. All right, guys, this wraps up this episode of Comic Character of the Week. Unless we got any more final thoughts?
No, I'm good.
All right, guys. I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy. Below, we got Dan the Man Kelly. Over to my right is J-Dub, the man himself, Mr. Antonio Bandana. So, thank you, guys. You have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.